Guys, welcome back to RIPP Superchargers, and thanks for stopping by. So behind me I've got a 2020 Jeep Gladiator Overland. It is an in-house vehicle. One of our employees drives this around on a daily basis, and it has completed nearly 16,000 miles in supercharged form. You can see that it has a big front mount intercooler in it. That's the RIPP Supercharger product. It has a barrage of it, actually. It's been testing our JL high performance coil packs, which add a little bit more power. It also has our catch can in there, and it also has the carbon fiber air box along with the RIPP Supercharger. Now, Jeep Gladiators are great vehicles. You can see this one's got a mild build on it. It's got a 35-inch tire on a 2-inch lift and, some armor, nothing too crazy. It's a great vehicle for double duty. This vehicle is set up like for some of you guys who might tow a little camper or maybe some boats or some, go motocross, things like that. So it's not built to go and, scale a mountain, even though Jeeps are known for that, and a lot of times we have videos of Jeeps doing that. This vehicle is a daily. It's a great daily. It's a great looking vehicle. Now, when it comes to testing, we are firm believers that we should be owning or driving what it is that we sell, and this vehicle is one of those representations. I daily drive a Ram with a 3.6 in it. Absolutely love it. There's a video coming out with that pretty shortly of in-car stuff, which is pretty great. And this vehicle, again, is doing double duty for one of our guys. So it's doing a great job at that. I mean, even though a lot of Gladiators reside, in the city, let's take this one over here where it's more comfortable as a Jeep. Might be a little quieter too. All right, so that was fun, right? We got to see this Jeep in action, and the great thing about a Gladiator is that it does sort of double duty very well, right? I mean, we're talking about a vehicle on a road like this. This could be any B road, right? If you're going camping, for example, and you got all your gear in here, you're gonna go through something like this. And granted, this one might be a little tougher, or maybe not that tough, depending on your skill level, but this Jeep can pretty much handle all that, right? And one of the things that you want to point out is with a RIPP Supercharger is how much control you have through some of these obstacles, right? There is no sort of like jumpiness in the vehicle. Like when we're doing that little rock crawl, which could have been anywhere in the country, right? When we stepped into the power, you saw the vehicle didn't lurch forward or jump forward. There was very controlled power for the driver, and the vehicle was able to use the drivetrain. One of the things that people often get wrong is that they're looking for different types of power, or they're looking at different power units that are available out there. We have competitors with different engineering or different types of sciences in their supercharger that deliver all this boost very, very early on, and that's not great in situations like like that mud and over those rocks, because the vehicle starts to get very unpredictable on you, and that's when you start slashing a tire or getting stuck or getting high-sided, and that's the kind of stuff the RIPP Supercharger is known for. When you're off-road, you have a lot of control, and that's what we're known for, not to be mistaken with the high-siding. So this vehicle, like I said, is a mild build. It's a double-duty vehicle. It's done quite a bit of miles supercharged for us and tuned, like I mentioned before, in testing, but it's also used on a daily basis, so we have a lot of data on this vehicle. Now, when you're riding with a vehicle like this, we got some Falcon Wild Peaks here. They're 35-inch tires, which most of our clients have. 37s and 35s seem to be the tire for us. In the city here, a 35 is just fine. They look rugged enough for what we need it for, and like I said, this type of off-roading is very easy. This vehicle could do that. It's on 20-inch fuel rims, which might be on the heavier side and they're not bead locks, but we don't need bead locks in this vehicle. Again, it's a vehicle that we're going to use to go to Home Depot, pick up some stuff at the, anywhere that we got to go pick up stuff, Costco, things of that nature. A little bit of body armor here, a 2-inch lift, some Fox shocks, very simple. It's not looking to beat up, a mountain anywhere. Now, the RIPP Supercharger in this vehicle is the standard kit that you could get right on our line, online, www.rippmods.com. And it uses basically the same hardware from all of our 3.6 JK stuff, with the exception of it fits a JT. It's got that V3 Vortex Supercharger, which is good for 800 horsepower. So we're not looking to make that horsepower, but at the horsepower levels we're talking about, that 340, 350 horsepower at the wheels on a tire like this, that's super efficient. That blower is going to run for hundreds of thousands of miles and not give you any problems. You know, 330 pounds of torque, very simple. You go right down the road, especially when you're towing something like a little camper or a boat, you know, or your motorcycles. You start to get to those grades and the thing starts shifting everywhere on a larger tire, on a stock gear. You know, that low boost that we give it, low RPMs, that mid-range, is all you need. 1, 2, 3 pounds of boost gets you over the hill without, you know, it hunting for different gears a million times. And that low pressure is what we continue to want to convey to our client, right? We are not a big boost kit. This kit tops out at 8 PSI, and you know, that mid RPM, most of the time you're using 2 to 4 PSI, and that's all you need. Now this huge intercooler is the biggest intercooler you can get on the market from basically, you know, 2007 to 2021, and you know, whenever they stop making a Wrangler. So you got plenty of cooling in those hotter zones, desert areas, Arizona, New Mexico, you know, the Middle East, Dubai, where, you know, they're climbing sand dunes. This is the most cooling you're going to get, you know, in any forced induction system, in any JK or JL. Additionally, we have some larger injectors to compensate for the added, you know, CFM of the boost, the supercharger itself. This one's using a carbon fiber air box, which protects it from any water, any splashing from the top or the bottom, so you don't have to worry about that as well, plus it looks awesome. In this vehicle, we've also been testing our, long-term testing our high-performance coil packs, which, you know, they're good for about 25 horsepower on their own. If you weren't interested in supercharging, you're looking for a mild mod. That mod will give you about 25 horsepower, but more importantly, give you a lot more throttle response at those low RPMs where the fuel is often unburnt. That's the actual reason we made that kit. We had so much data on the dyno. I don't think any other company has dynoed more 3.6 liter cars, SUVs, or Jeeps, trucks at this point, you know, than RIPP. So we have so much data on it that we were able to make that product. And the industry responded. I mean, you guys have been purchasing them up like crazy. We're often out of stock on those. So there's a bunch of videos on that. You should check that out on its own. You could probably see that either in the link or linked around here someplace. You check that on its own. So from there, we'd go to the catch can. We have a catch can in this vehicle. So all 3.6s run a little sloppy down, you know, down in the crankcase. And so what ends up happening there is you need to filter some of that. And our catch can will catch a lot of that muck, filter it out, and then you spend nice clean air back to the engine, and you don't have to worry about gunking up your valves or your intake or anything like that. So that's what this vehicle basically does. Now, a lot of our clients who call have the same questions. We have an excellent top 10 video, top 10 question video, frequently asked question video. You should check that out too, because there's so much information on that one. It's got almost 1 million views, and clients have interacted in those comments. Chances if we missed anything in the top 10, you're going to see it in the comments as well. But you should check that out, because I don't want to go over all those questions, but it covers things like what gas, how much power, what gearing should I run, you know, what can I expect, do I have to add things, really good stuff. But when clients call with JT specifically, they're always asking about towing and how it will work in towing, because they're, you know, worried about the power they're going to get with this and if it would be reliable. In our case, we've done some mild towing with this vehicle, a couple of a boat. You know, we towed a 5,000-pound boat for 3 hours, so 6 hours combined, you know, well over 300 miles worth of data on that. It did a phenomenal job. We stayed about 12 to 14 miles per gallon at a reasonable 60 to 65 miles an hour. You know, boat's a big thing. There's a lot of drag there. So you could do that kind of towing not without an issue, and there was no issues with cooling or you know, things overheating, things of that nature. But most of our clients want to know about light towing, things that are about 1,500 to 2,500 pounds. A JT will do that perfectly. And what happens at higher elevation is you're losing a bit of power in those grades, things like Colorado, higher elevations like Utah, things like that, where you have those long grades. The supercharger will come in great. You'll have one downshift, generally one downshift, if not two. It'll just target 2,500 RPMs, and right there you'll have 1 or 2 pounds of boost, and it'll get you going and keeping you up with traffic without having to pull over to the slow lane. So that's the answer to that question, which is most common. Other than that, reliability has been super solid with our kits. Again, we're not pummeling the engine with boost. We are a low pressure system, and we are making big power because of the efficiency. Again, check out that frequently asked questions video. There's a lot on the supercharger itself there. We are tuned on 91 octane fuel, which is what you'd be using if you do supercharge and you'd expect. We're on a stock exhaust on this vehicle. We are testing an exhaust system for those of you continue to ask, but there is tonality and power that we want to work on. We don't want any drone. It's a big exhaust in here. There's 2 mufflers and a resonator in the back from the factory, and there's a reason, because they can get pretty wonky. Some of you who have some of our competitors' exhaust systems know that. Well, anyway, it's a little window into, you know, the RIPP kit, how it could be used, how we use it, what kind of testing we do. So it's always great to, you know, to have you guys come in and check that out. If you like what you see, please hit the like button, you know, subscribe. That really helps us. We're not going to spam you with anything. You know, give us a call, www.ripmods.com, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, all that stuff. We're happy to help. Thanks, guys.